Sort of. Temporarily. I would love to be officially back, like back doing reviews, because Debbie and I absolutely love it, and Kayla and I absolutely love doing it, and Kayla, Debbie, and I absolutely love doing it, and I just feel so in my element when I do them. But unfortunately, I'm not officially back because there's so much going on in my life. One of them being this little rascal. Everyone, please meet the new mascot of the video reviews. This is Morty. She is my new dog. I've had her since July of last year, and I love her very much, but she's also very rowdy, and she needs to calm down. She's going to be reviewing this movie with me. I do want to first start off by saying that the reason why I'm back for now is because it is belated, but it was my friend Mariana's birthday last week, and I was scheduled to review this movie that I'm doing, but unfortunately I got sick. I'm still sick. I'm still dealing with what happened, but I'm feeling well enough to do the review this week, so thank goodness for that. So happy belated birthday, Mariana. Today I'm actually going to be talking about a movie that I watched called Folklore. It is, in my opinion, I really enjoyed it. I had seen clips of it that Mariana had sent me before because an actress that we love very much, Ruth Connell, is in it, and she is hilarious, honestly, one of the best parts of it. But I want to kind of go into the movie itself. I wouldn't call it a short film because it was like an hour and 20 minutes, I think. So not a short film, but definitely a fun film. And it was really good. I thought that the two main characters, Collins and Meryl, like hilarious. I wish that they had their own show. I would watch that show. Basically, it's about these two characters, Collins, John, and Meryl. I forgot her last name, but she and him, they work for this agency called Quartz agency that does interviews and census and everything with mystical and sci-fi creatures. So like creatures of like unicorns, vampires, werewolves, androids, all that stuff. And it's just, they all each have their own personality that brings the comedy to it. So I'm going to kind of go through each interview and kind of give you my perspective on each one, because there were a few that I thought were really funny, and a few that I could have done without. Not because of the actors were great. It was a very funny movie. I never felt like anyone was stilted or anything. I went from kind of being a little weary going into it and then getting really invested by the end and like really wanting everyone to have a happy ending. So I'm going to be reviewing this movie. Now, if any of you are going to watch this review because you've seen Folklore, you're curious about Folklore, welcome to the review. I hope you enjoy it. If any of you are just down and sad and you happen to see a girl holding a puppy and you just want to mute my voice and just watch the little adorable cutie, welcome as well. I'm glad I could help. She's calm, isn't she? Yeah, she's not usually like that. She just really hates cameras, so we're just gonna... She's calm at home, but like when it comes to cameras, it's like she's not very photogenic. We'll take pictures of her and everything, and she's just like, nah. If you were standing here right now, she'd be jumping all over you. So, yeah. Anyways, let's begin the review. So the first interview was Annabelle Sign. I think it was Sign because Meryl called her like her Valentine. She's an android. And she wasn't necessarily funny, nor did I think she was intentionally supposed to be. She was a French android, and that was more of an emotional one. Like, it kind of went from being a little, like, the back and forth was a little boring to me, and it kind of made me weary about the rest of the movie. But then, like, by the end of it, I was getting, like, invested because they would keep coming back to her, and I was like, oh, I'm actually starting to really like her and worry about her, and, like, I'm sad for her. So eventually I did get into her story. And then, we find out that Collins is new to the agency. He's been there for 6 months. He's still getting hazed. And he said, like, I've been here for 6 months. It should be over, right? And Meryl's like, nah, it's usually a year that you get hazed. And that is very true. Like, if any of you have ever experienced a new job, you really don't feel like you fit in until a year. And then you kind of find your footing, and then you make a few mistakes along the way, but it's like you learn, So Meryl and Collins interview Annabeth, and then they go to the next one, and oof, the next interview I did not care for. It was these aliens. They were twins. I'd like to first start, before I continue, if I forgot anything, like names, or if I miss out on an interview, it's a very good chance I was not invested in the situation. With these girls, I just didn't find them funny. There were a few times that I chuckled, but they mostly just annoyed me. In fact, while watching the interview, because they kept coming back to these girls as if they were like really popular characters, and I just didn't care for them. Nothing against the actors, great actresses. I just didn't care for the plot line of their story or the arc. But as they were coming back every once in a while, I would start planning out what I was going to say about this scene during the scene. So I was getting really bored. Are you falling asleep? So that one didn't get me. I think that the problem for me was they were aliens. They didn't really act like aliens. I feel like they could have amped it up, and there were a few other interviews that actually did a really good job being what they were, and they could have done so much more with it, like a third rock from the sun thing, or Invader Zim, or even like the Game Grumps whole thing about making up an alien species that's like, as humans would do, and I would have found that much funnier. Instead, they were just kind of annoying girls. The only thing that I did find funny, which was a plot line that kept coming back and forth, or like a joke that kept coming back and I did find funny, was Risa. One of the aliens' name is Risa. The other is called Lise, maybe? I don't remember. But Risa kept hitting on Collins, and I thought that was really funny because he's getting over a breakup with someone, and he's really just like, can you not? And so I thought that was very, very funny. But that was the only part that I found funny, and they just kept coming back to these girls, and I was like, not feeling it. And then they did a werewolf. That was not funny. I didn't find that funny at all. That joke did not land with me. I did not care for it. You are falling asleep. Goodness, baby. I can put you down here. So apologies to anyone who watched it specifically for her. She's falling asleep, so she's gonna... Oh, no, she's awake now. We'll see if she makes a cameo. So don't start barking. She thinks she's so tough. So in between the interviews, what keeps happening is this, like, girl keeps popping in and out, and we find out her name is Neri. And as they just kept showing her on and off, and it was just kind of confusing for me, I was like, there better be a good payoff for this, because this is getting a little weird. It was just very random. It kept going back to her throughout each interview, or not all the interviews, but just like every once in a while, I'd go back to her, and I was like, why do we keep going back to her? This is really weird. But I will say that the payoff was actually worth it. I did like the payoff. So, there was that. We'll get back to her. But anyways, the next interview after a few days was hilarious. I loved this interview. This one and another one that I will bring up later were the best ones ever. And it was because of the performances of the actor and the actress who played them. The first one was the time traveler. I believe, I'm going to butcher his name, and I feel bad about that because I actually really did like him. I think his last name was Kasem. I think it was Taller Kasem or something. He was a time lord, or he was a time traveler. And they made some Doctor Who references and everything, but he was so funny. I mean, I loved him. He was hilarious. He was exactly what I feel the other performances should have been. I would have preferred that. every time he was brought back, it made me laugh so hard. And the whole thing about like how he's there specifically to warn everyone that like we're near the end of the world, and then we find out that the end of the world is in 187 years. That made me laugh so hard, and Colin's and Meryl's reaction to it were great. That made me laugh really hard. He was perfect. He was exactly what the interviews should have been. He took his role, he amped it up for the comedy, and he delivered. He was so funny. I loved him. And his outfit was absolutely hilarious. And then I believe after him came a really, really funny one, which was the funniest of all of them, and the reason why I'm doing this review. Mary Lane Heath, a sucker. She doesn't like being called a vampire. And she was played by the amazing Ruth Connell. She was so funny. She was a dominatrix who would do like mental telepathy domination. So like one of her clients was literally downstairs waiting for her, and she was mentally giving him a little thing, a special technique that she did called the slap, and she'd be like, you know, or like in her mind she's like, but she was so funny. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm biased because I love Ruth Connell, but man, was she hilarious. I mean, gosh, she was so offended about being there. She did not want to be there. She hated Collins. She hated Meryl. It was so funny. They both didn't like, Meryl liked her and wanted to be her and like wanted to emulate her, and Collins couldn't stand her. And there was this one scene, well, I mean, a really popular scene that Mariana and I have gone back and forth on that as a joke we've just always found really funny. We've even put it in our fan fictions, is a moment where she asks his name and he's like, my name is Collins John, and she goes, I don't like that, and then I think I'll call you Wee Wiener Boy instead. And so like for the rest of it she calls him Wee Wiener Boy, which was so funny. He's like, don't call me that. It was hilarious. And then there was this one moment, holy crap, I don't know if I'd ever seen it before because it took me by surprise, but boy did I laugh hard, where Collins is asking her about her origin, and she's so offended by him just asking about why she hates the word vampire and everything. And I kind of agree with Collins. Like, why is it that big of a deal to become a vampire? Because her reasoning was like, you know, imagine being called a human all the time. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, if a creature that is not human called me human, it wouldn't bother me. So he just didn't understand, and she just kept getting so upset. So he's trying to understand her, and he's like, did I leave anything out? And she goes, yes, one more thing. And she stands up and just bitch slaps him across the face. It is so funny. I was laughing to the point of tears. I was laughing so hard. His reaction, so funny. Meryl's laughing, I'm laughing, and she sits down just annoyed, and I was just, oh my gosh, even thinking of the scene makes me want to laugh again, like to a point of like tears, because it was so funny. Funniest part of the entire film. It was great. And there was also she came back as well. I wish she had come back more than the aliens. I wish that her time and the time travelers' time was lengthened and their time was cut, because they were really, really funny. A unicorn was after Mary Lane Heath, and she was funny because of Collins and Meryl. Like, her name was funny. It was Eat the Ham, and that was funny because they kept going like, I'm sorry, what's your name again? And she's like, Eat the Ham, and they're like, okay, what is it? And like, that was really funny how they were like having fun with the name, and how they also didn't believe she was a unicorn. And I thought that was really funny because I was like, she could be a unicorn, or she could be a psycho. So I thought that was really funny because of them. She herself was okay. There was a guy who was clearly just a guy who wanted to be a zombie. He wanted to convince him he was a zombie. That was really funny because they kept telling him, like, we know you're not a zombie. You need to leave. Like, you're a human. Your name's Human Guy. You're clearly not a zombie. That was really funny because they have a conversation about, like, you know, we need to fire the security guard because they made this joke about how, like, he's been here for 29 years and he started at 23 or something like that. It's really funny, and you catch the security guard sleeping. That cracked me up. And then there was a Chinese god, a Chinese deity, who wanted to speak to Collins because he believed he was Chinese, and he's like, he does know I'm not Chinese, right? at all. And he goes up to the guy and he's just screaming at him in Chinese about like, you know, how come you don't speak Chinese? You are dishonor. You're dishonor to your people. And he's just sitting there like, I have no idea what you're saying. It was really, really funny. Okay. So there was one that at first I didn't find funny, and by the end I was laughing my heck off. She was a shapeshifter named Frida. Couldn't pronounce her entire name. I apologize, but it turned out that, you know, at first I was like, okay, I'm not feeling her. I'm not really seeing the whole shape-shifting thing, but she's like, she shape-shifts into a spider. And I am horribly arachnophobic, as you all know, if you watch my channel. Yeah, so as soon as they said that, I was like, oh, no. And I was like, actually like watching like this, because I thought she was actually going to shape-shift into a spider. Well, you comfortable? All right, cool. She's on her perch. So she was like, you know, I'm going to shapeshift for you guys, and then I'm going to seduce Collins. And at first it wasn't all that funny until she hit a door. As soon as she hit the door, I was dying. I thought that was hilarious. And then it goes back to them, like, carrying her, trying to get her to the hospital. And she's like, this isn't my web. This is not my web. And they're like, yeah, no, you need to go to the hospital. You, like, have a concussion. Like, that was really funny. And we never got the spider. So thank goodness for that. That was hilarious. And she actually did crawl like a spider. So that was talent. So, cool. Let's see. What other interviews were there? I think I've named them all, and if I haven't, I apologize. Oh, the angel. The angel was funny. Her conversations with them by quoting Bible verses was hilarious, and it's funny because when the angel showed up, it started to make me think of these books that I used to read growing up called the Bailey School Kids, and they lived in a town where a lot of like mystical creatures kept coming in and out, and they would constantly try to prove that they were that creature. And I thought about that when the angel showed up. She was funny. They were both a little like, okay, yeah, you're you. Like, she wanted Colin specifically to sit next to her so she could witness to him. And he was like, yeah, but I'm supposed to be interviewing you. So that was funny. I think that was kind of the gist of the main interviews. It went back around to some of them, and then some of them you only saw once. There was a banshee that was very funny. I wish there had been more of her, because like you see her and then all of a sudden she screams, and you hear Colin say to Meryl like, why did you ask her to sing? And she's like, I know, she had a beautiful voice. I think that was really funny. But then we come back all the way around to that girl who keeps just randomly popping in and out, Neri. And it turns out she is a water nymph, and I did not figure it out. I was like, who is this woman? And then I realized, like, I kind of had to watch it again. Like, oh, she's drinking water. Okay, she has to drink water. I ended up really liking her by the end because she sounds like Audrey Hepburn. Her accent was so beautiful, and her voice was so melodious that I was just like, oh, I love her voice. And her outfit was really cute, and that's actually what inspired this little outfit I'm wearing right now. I'll stand and kind of show you the whole thing. I just thought it kind of resembled, she was wearing a really pretty purple dress, but it resembled kind of like the flowy dress that she wore, so that's why I put this on. I took a shower, and I'll get to the shower thing in a minute because there's a story behind that. I took a shower, and I got out, and I was going to put on something nice, and I was like, hey, this dress is cute. So that's why I'm wearing this dress, because of her. And then Collins and her meet, and I'm like, are they going to fall in love? I hope they fall in love, because I thought they were really cute. And they do. They eventually fall in love. And at the end of the movie, they do get married, so that's really, really cute. And I just thought that was really cute. I was like, oh, that's adorable. But her interview was kind of boring. And to just kind of emphasize how boring it was, I was taking my shower while watching the interview. Like, I was watching and listening from the shower because I was getting so bored. Again, nothing against the actors. I just wasn't getting invested in this interview. I just wanted to take a shower and get ready for my review. And so I was watching while taking a shower. Don't worry, the electronics were not in the shower. But afterwards, when he almost asked her out and then chickened out, and then like in the epilogue it revealed that they got married. That was really cute. And then shows like a year later, he and Meryl still work at the embassy. So the agency. So that was Folklore. I thought it was really good. I think it needs to get more acclaim. I thought it was really cute, and personally, I think it should be a TV show, animated or not. I think that you should bring back some of the characters. Definitely Mary Lane, definitely Neri, because she's, it's like Marilyn Collins, absolutely. The time traveler, please bring him back. The aliens, I guess, but like, please have them come and go. And Frida's very, very funny. So yeah, like, that would be super awesome. But yeah, that's my review of Folklore. I hope you all enjoyed it. It was really great to be back. I'm gonna try and do these every once in a while. It's just with stuff going on in my life, I kind of have to, take a break every once in a while. But I'm signing off soon. I just need to grab my little cutie so she can say goodbye. Morty, come here. She listens to me, so obedient, as you can tell. She came running the instant I called her. Morty, come here. Come here. Do I have to come get you? Do I have to come get you? I don't think people want to wait for me to get you. Okay, please come here. You say bye-bye? Say bye-bye! Say bye-bye, everybody! I'm your new mascot! You guys have a good night. Bye.